It's Jay. Welcome to Mvskoke Radio, your weekly source for tribal and community news, interesting guests and discussions, plus a local events calendar. We have a look at the 5K run, which is one of the early premier events for the upcoming Mvskoke Festival, the 23rd through the 25th. So we're getting ready to knock ourselves out covering that and presenting wonderful aspects. And on the 24th, we will actually be doing a live broadcast from the council grounds. And so if you want to drop by and say howdy, come on down. We'll be starting at 10 and going until 12. That's the plan and so far. Okay, well, let's get on with what we've got today. Our reporter Morgan Taylor took some time to speak with Sean Partridge about one of the events, the 5K run, emphasizing physical fitness and people getting a chance to get out and see each other and compete a little bit and enjoy the first part of the festival. So let's give it to her and we'll be off and running.
Order on. We'll just start by saying your name and title.
Okay, sure. My name is Sean Partridge, and I serve as the director with Mvskoke Nation's Family Violence Prevention Program.
And so what is your involvement in the 5K?
Sure. So when I first started working at the nation almost 20 years ago, I started out volunteering pretty much on an annual basis for the Festival 5K. And then I think it's been probably 6-7 years now that myself, Tanya Barden, one of my coworkers at Family Violence, and then also Anthony Bird serve as the coordinators of the 5K. So we enjoy it and are excited that we're finally back in person and that the festival's on this year.
So this is isn't this something that you do like recreationally?
Yes.
And so is that kind of why you kind of got into coordinating?
Yeah, now I kind of understand your question, but yes, no, I run off and on, myself and my family and participate in 5K and other, distance races. And so it is something that I enjoy and, like to be involved in this way, just in, putting on the 5K for our nation for the festival time.
Yeah, so do you typically have a lot of participants or how many have you had in the past?
Sure. So I think in 2019 was the last festival, and so we had right about 300 participants, which was our biggest year thus far. I think generally it's been, between 250 and 300. So we're really excited this year. We're hopeful that, after, the pandemic and just, the rough time that we've had as a nation, communities, and our families, we're hopeful that people, are feeling safe to get out and participate and that this is going to be one of our biggest races yet.
So speaking of that, you guys are still offering a virtual option, correct?
We are. So this is something that we had planned to add for the festival in 2020. We were really excited about it, but of course, once the festival was canceled because of the pandemic, and this being our first festival again, we were really excited to add, this virtual option. We know that especially, during the pandemic, just the popularity of virtual races, 5Ks, 10Ks, marathons, the popularity for a virtual option in those types of races, really increased. And so we saw and see this as an opportunity to, allow for citizens that live beyond the reservation and their families and friends to participate and, be able to do their walk or run on their own time
and medal?
Yeah, so we have 150 designated virtual participant spots, and yes, all of those participants will receive a tech tee and a medal by mail, and then we have designated 350. We have 350 commemorative shirts for the in-person participants, and so of course, we'll welcome more than 350 in-person, race participants, but we do only have 350 shirts.
Okay, well, so how does a virtual race work? If you don't mind. Yeah.
Yeah, so really it kind of depends on the race and, coordinator and just the guidelines that they set. Since this was the first year for us to, offer a virtual opportunity, we're keeping it really simple. Citizens, and again, this is open to the public as well, so if a citizen, living off reservation has a spouse or relative or friend that they want to participate with them, they are also welcome to register. And so once they register, as soon as we receive those shirts and medals, we'll start packaging them and sending them out to our virtual participants. And some races require, that participants log in and enter their time. We're not requiring that this time. We're just, doing kind of the honor system, if you will, that, somebody that registers for the virtual option that, that they will complete again that 3.1 miles on their own time and then have the shirt and medal to prove that they participated and accomplished that.
Okay, so they don't have to they're not putting headgear on and seeing something that's kind of how I imagined it.
No, virtual races are just signing up and then basically doing the race, on your own, whether it's walking or running and around your neighborhood, or if they have a specific place that they want to do it, but really all of that is totally up to them.
That makes sense, because if they're far away, they may not be on the same time zone as us.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, and so what is do you guys do places or anything like that?
So we won't have places as far as the virtual participants, but for the in-person participants, yes, there are, the designated age groups, and we will have age group prizes for first, second, and third place winners in each of those age groups. And then this year we're also offering $250 cash to the overall male and female participants. And again, this is specifically for the in-person participants.
Okay. And so as somebody who kind of, does this as a hobby, what is a good 5K go? What's the time for that?
You know what? I think just starting and crossing that finish line. That's what we want to see. I love, one of the things I love about the Festival 5K is that we literally have citizens, from all different age groups, elders, again, from the youngest kids, and even some parents or family members who are pushing, babies in a stroller, up to elders, that cross that finish line. And so it's really exciting to see. We also have a lot of indigenous people that come from all over Oklahoma to come and participate, as well as, non-native community members that come out and join us. So, I don't think, it's nice to want to improve on your 5K time, but I just encourage everyone to come out and, by participating, our race starts at 7:30. We're generally done, by 9 a.m. And as far as the event being completely over, so, when you get out there early and you run or you walk walk or a 5K, most of the time you've done more than half the, population of people who are probably still at home in bed. So anyway, we just encourage people to come out, have a good time, help cheer on all the participants, and, do something good for themselves, getting out and being active.
So are you guys, do you guys have like a regular trail that you guys run?
Yeah, so we do have, and that is one of the things I think that's really exciting about our course, is that it is, a certified course for the United States Track and Field Association, and so it is a certified course. It's a sanctioned race, and so so the 5K course that starts right between the on the complex, right between the education and training building and actually the Children and Family Violence program building. And it, goes down, passes Light Horse, down Eufaula Street, all the way to Mission, and then, past Mission and out to the Loop, and then follow the Loop back around to the complex, and the finish line is right in front of the Mound building. And we, just like always, every year we try to increase the number of volunteers that we have. We generally have between 40 and 50 that are out on the course to help provide support to participants. Light Horse, our, Mvskoke Nation, EMS will be on site. And so we do everything that we can to ensure that we have a safe race for all participants.
And so what about those virtual people? What would you say they could do to keep safe, since they may be alone or doing it at a weird time or weird place or something like that?
Yeah, no, that's a really good point, and I appreciate you asking about that. I think any time that we can, participate with somebody else, family member or friend, to join us is a great idea. I mean, definitely trying if it is the evening hours, or, trying to stay in well-lit, well-populated areas. It's always good to make sure and carry water with you. We provide the in-person race, and, most or every in-person 5K race, we'll have water stations because it's really important to stay hydrated. So if, somebody is participating virtually, they want to make sure and carry water with them. And then, if they are going out by themselves, making sure to let a family member know, where they're going, and that way, they'll know to, kind of expect, to hear from them on when they should return. So.
Yeah, that's a really good idea. I try to do that anyways, just in case something happens,
Yeah, no, exactly. Those are important safety measures. The other thing that I want to point out, Morgan, is that, our in-person race is $10 for registration. And so for people that, that do participate in a lot of 5Ks, that price is like unheard of. Generally, 5Ks anymore are, $35 plus, and sometimes they don't even include a shirt. So we've tried to make it very, very affordable for citizens. And then the price for the virtual is $20, which is still a very great price. We did have to increase that just because of the shipping costs, to mail the shirts and the medals. So we've done our very best to make it as affordable as possible, and we're just really excited to see, where our citizens, are, and where they're going to participate from, and, to join us in on the Festival 5K.
Yeah, that sounds awesome. So where does that money go? Does it go into the winner's pot, or?
No. So the money goes back in to the Festival 5K fund account. Our race, it's expensive to put on a 5K race. We have our timing services, especially when we provide, the tech tees and the medals and the bibs. And so, it can be pretty expensive. And so, all the money that is collected, goes back in to the 5K fund account to help us some of those costs because our budget is generally, we generally spend more than we're allocated for, the 5K alone. So the registration fees help us, provide these other, the shirts, the medals, and the timing services.
Okay, awesome. And that's funny because you just think, you're just running.
Mm-hmm.
It wouldn't cost you so much, but I get it. I understand because I did a track and stuff like that in school. You gotta have.
Yeah.
So what's the registration looking like? Do you have any registered already? When does that end?
We do. So registration, we didn't. I wish we could have gotten that out earlier, but we didn't. But so it was released on Friday, I believe, and we've already got, I think, close to 60 participants. And so we will, we have a lot of people that register by mail. Right now we have two options for registration, and that's online registration, and then also via mail. We typically have a lot of people that register by mail. In the past we have provided in-person registration, but just because of the pandemic and really trying to reduce, the face-to-face or people coming in to buildings, if not at all necessary, we didn't include the in-person registration this time. But so we encourage people to register again online. There is the Run sign up website does charge a small fee. I think it's anywhere. It kind of depends, I think, on the number of registrations that you do. So I think it's anywhere from like $1 to $3. And so they can register online. They can mail in registration. Registration for the pre-registration for the in-person ends on June 21st, as does the virtual registration. And then the next opportunity to register for the in-person race would be that morning of the race, and the cost does go up $5. To register on that race day. And we have a lot of people that come race morning to register, but I definitely encourage people to register early so they can ensure that they can get the shirt size that they would prefer. And so I'm really excited about our shirt design. That is also on the festival website. I believe that picture, and we've got that kind of circulating around. But we're really excited, and just want to encourage people to get out and join us. And again, it's open to the public and all ages, and it's a great way for community members, that aren't our citizens, to get out and kind of participate as well, and learn a little bit about the nation, and just be involved, with our festival. So we're really excited.
Awesome. So is there a contact info or anybody, like if anybody has questions, who should they call?
Yeah, so they're more than welcome to call me, and they can reach our main program line for family violence is 918-732-7979. And you know what, Morgan? Actually, scratch that. Let's give my work cell phone number instead.
Okay.
But that number is 918-752-5431. For questions about 5K, and also if they'll go on the festival website, there's all the information is on there as well.
All right, I don't think I have any more questions for you. Is there anything regarding the 5K or virtual that anybody else should know?
No, I don't think so. I think we've covered it all.
All right, and you said that race will be Saturday morning of the festival weekend?
Yeah, Saturday, June 25th. The gun goes off at 7:30. So definitely people who are racing in person want to be there, as early as possible, just to ensure they're good to go. So again, on the virtual, once they register, if they, are free and want to do their race, their 5K that morning at the same time, great. That part is really, and again, I think that's a good thing about it, is that it provides a really flexible opportunity for citizens and people to participate when it's convenient for them to do so. And again, we're operating on the honor system, so when we send out their shirt and medal, we're doing so with the idea that they registered and that they're completing a 5K too.
Awesome. Well, okay. I think that's it. I think we've covered it all.
Okay, Morgan, thank you so much for your time. I appreciate it.
All right. Well, we'll talk to you later.
Okay, all right.
This is Morgan Taylor from the Mvskoke Media staff talking with Sean Partridge about the 5K race, an event that's always popular during the Mvskoke Festival. I don't know, getting up at 7:30 to run at 7:30 is not the way I'm going to start my day. We're going to take a short pause here, and then we'll be back with our second segment. Okay, let's just get started with our second segment here today. We are breaking in a new reporter as far as Mvskoke Radio is concerned. We like to make sure that our staff is multi-taskers. So I tell you what, I'm just going to let him introduce himself.
Oh, thank you, Gary. Good morning, Mvskoke Nation. I'm Braden Harper, reporter for the Mvskoke Media. Today we're talking about a new National War Memorial coming to the reservation in Broken Arrow. It's called the War at Home Memorial, and it memorializes the veterans who have been lost to suicide. The memorial is funded in part by the Mission 22 Project, the City of Broken Arrow, and the Mvskoke Creek Nation. I do have a content warning this morning, as we will be discussing the topic of suicide, which some listeners may find distressing. If you or someone you know is struggling with thoughts of suicide, call the National Suicide Prevention Lifeline at 1-800-273-8255. That's 1-800-273-8255. Please take care of yourself. Joining us today to talk about the War at Home Memorial is Mvskoke veteran and assigned guardian of the memorial, Michael D. Kuhn. Michael, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me here, Brandon.
Braden, sorry. It's okay. So for our listeners out there that may not be familiar with your story, tell us how you got involved with the War at Home Memorial.
Well, in September of 2015, I lost my son to veteran suicide. And then about 3 weeks after his death, I was contacted by Mission 22 to see if I would let my son be one of the memorials, one of the silhouettes of what he did in the military. And I thought about it, and I thought, well, what a way to, I didn't know, with my son being, this tragic event happening to him and the family, that I had doubts in the beginning of, being part of it. But then I thought to myself that what a better avenue to get the message out for our veterans that are serving currently now and what they're going through, so someone can get up and tell their story of how these soldiers have gone through this tragic events in their life and everything, and then to be able to tell their story. So when I reached out, when Mission 22 asked me, I said, yes, I definitely want my son to be part of that silhouette of the 20, because we have them for the fallen, but we don't have them when they come back home and they lose the war at home. Even though these veterans have served honorably for our country and our nations, that they will not be forgotten. And so I decided to go ahead and start being more involved with this Mission 20 for veteran suicide, and to find out more about PTSD, of what these veterans are dealing with. Because anymore, these veterans today have maybe 4 or 5 deployments, and it's unheard of. And during the Vietnam time, during my time in service, that most of them had 2 tours, 3 tours, but these young veterans now, some of them maybe go up to 7 deployments. My son, if he was still in, he might be in probably his 6th or 7th deployment right now. So I think that we need to scale back some on with these veterans that have so much combat, that people understand that, what they're dealing with. And I noticed when my son and a lot of his fellow soldiers were in, that they still dealing with the PTSD. but they're afraid to tell their superiors that they're dealing with this, because when the Army finds out, or whatever branch of service is, they ended up kicking them out of service, unfit to serve. And so that's the only financial way that they have of supporting their family. And when you kick somebody out like that, it just feels like that they can't support their family no more, and they feel lost and they feel like a loser. And we shouldn't have our vets to be feeling like that. We should be supporting our vets and tell them that, hey, we're behind you and everything for what you're dealing with, but you need to let us know of how you feel and everything, because there is programs out there to help our veterans. But if the public doesn't quite understand what our veterans are going through, that is the heartbreak for all our Gold Star families, is that they didn't know where to turn. But since I've been involved in this now, we've reached out to a lot of veterans now to get them help at Elder Heart in Texas. It's an 8-week course, and we go through and make sure that they are seen, because we know VA is so overloaded, and even in the VA hospitals, a lot of the veterans are giving up, and they're either going home after they have their appointment and taking their own life. It's either in the car, on the street, at home. It's just tragic that our vets that have served our country so honorable are having to take this one drastic step. And so that's the reason why I got involved with Mission 22 and became a guardian of our memorial. And then from there, I was appointed to be the steward of the memorial.
Now, you mentioned the Mission 22 project. Could you tell me a little bit more about that and the services they offer for veterans struggling with PTSD?
Well, with the services that we have, like I mentioned, is, we have that Elder Heart facility in Texas that we sent them to get an 8-week therapy course, where they go and they learn to do with metalworking, different arts. And so we have like a buddy system where the rooms are connected, where the veterans that go down there, they're not left in their room alone. It's just like their battle buddy. There's a adjoining door next to the room that if the veteran feels like, he feels lost and stuff, that the veteran next door can come in there and talk to him. So there's always somebody there as a battle buddy there, as we call them, to be there to console them and to sit with them and understand what goes on. But we have horse therapy up in Oregon and stuff, and we have jiu-jitsu and stuff for the to get the frustration stuff that the veterans feel and everything, to work out. We have runs, hikes and stuff that we do. Different organizations that are with our Mission 22 that we have, that we just reach out to different communities, different states and everything, since we're nationally known and everything. It's a good thing that Mission 22 reaches out to help our veterans, because a lot of these veterans that are in Mission 22, the founder is our former Green Beret. A lot of the family members are in Mission 22 are veteran-associated husbands, spouses of veterans and stuff. So it's a real tight-knit veterans organization that they feel the pain, and that they know where that this program needs to go to help our veterans.
So essentially it's a program that was founded by veterans for veterans.
Yeah, correct.
Yes, and the War at Home Memorial, that is just one of the newest projects that the Mission 22 project, or the Mission 22 project has been working on. Tell us, where did the idea for the War at Home Memorial come from?
The founder, Magnus Johnson, like I said, he's a Green Beret and served I think either 3 or 4 tours as a Green Beret. But he was the founder that decided that the veterans needed something to like a memorial to recognize the pain and stuff that all these veterans are feeling. So he came up with the War at Home to take silhouette pictures of veterans that had served, that had taken their life, and so not for them to be forgotten, but to be recognized and basically like our fallen. And so what he did with that is in these 20 silhouettes were all different branches of service. It wasn't just one branch, but all 4 branches of our service. And not all men, but also we have a woman where Michelle Lindquist was a staff sergeant that was in the United States Army that took her life. And so there's, just a different variety, different cultures, different veterans from all races and stuff. I mean, it just doesn't go for one race. It's all of the human race that served in the military, that had gone through these traumas and everything, that had a hard time, firefight teams or whatever trauma that they endured in the military. That is why Magnus decided that this memorial needs to be presented to the public to let them bring out the awareness for veteran suicide.
Absolutely. And now your son's silhouette monument, it was just unveiled last year in May 2021. What did it feel like to finally see it unveiled for the first time?
Well, the first time I seen that was all the silhouettes back in Texas. When we first did the first dedication in Brewer, Texas, they had the 20 silhouettes down there, and all the family members got to get the cutout inside. So all family members got the cutout of the 20 silhouettes. And then the 20 silhouettes were presented out as a memorial and everything. And so they took each picture of what they did in the military. Like my son's cutout is when he was in Afghanistan and he was mine sweeping. And so they've taken different pictures of the 20 veterans of what they did in the military. And that's what they utilized on the memorial to show of the different aspects of what each veteran did in service.
Yes. Now, the memorial will be unveiled at Veterans Park in Broken Arrow. Why was Broken Arrow chosen as the permanent home for this new memorial?
Well, when I first started, when they first made me the steward of the memorial to find a place, because after we had went to Texas, unveiled it in Texas, and then we took it to Norfolk, Virginia, outside the naval base up there at Norfolk, Virginia, that they were too big and massive because they're 4 foot by 10 foot. They're 1,000 pounds apiece. When you leave a state, you leave 20 pieces of slab of cement with nothing there. And so they decided that they wanted it to be a moving memorial, but then with it being so costly for cement and then the construction of and after they leave, no city wanted to leave just a block of cement with 20 pieces of cement on there with nothing there. So we decided to find a permanent home. So that's where I came in, and I told them, why don't we have it in Oklahoma? Because we're centrally located. And of all these Gold Star families, they're all over the United States. They're on the West Coast, East Coast, North and South. So why not have it central here in Oklahoma? Plus, I told them about how here in Oklahoma how we honor our veterans here, not only tribal, but statewide. And I told them that, this was the perfect place for it to be here in Oklahoma, because it being on the Mvskoke Nation reservation, to have this type of memorial, national memorial, to be placed here on our grounds was something honorable for not only for our native veterans here in the state of Oklahoma, but for all the vets of all races for the state of Oklahoma to come here to have a place here in Broken Arrow. So that's why Tulsa could not be able to accommodate me because of the size and the structure of these silhouettes and everything. So I went to the Tulsa Mayor's Council meeting, and then when I was there, Deborah Wimpy, which was a council member at the time, raised her hand and said, Broken Arrow would take it. We would like to have that in our city. And so I went out there and I met with her council, the mayor, in Broken Arrow, and then we talked over the discussions, going with the architect and everything, how things will be done for the memorial and everything. So I went out there and I walked it, and to me, as soon as I walked it, before anything was even done to it, that to me, that was a fitting place. that this memorial should be, because it was over a pond, and there would be the backdrop of their memorial, what they have already. Vietnam, they're getting ready to put in another for the Korean War. They have Ernest Childers' statue out there. They had a women's war memorial there. And so it was a fitting place for that memorial to be placed there. So when I agreed, and the city agreed, and then the legwork started as far as getting the funding for the memorial, which was about $500,000 for the funding, $25,000 for the benches and stuff. That I went to different veterans organizations and different families. I wanted to buy a bench for their loved one and stuff for this memorial. The tribe put in $57,000 with the Mvskoke Nation, and then the Mission 22 put in $260,000, and then Broken Arrow took up the rest, which came up to $500,000 for this memorial. So it was a joint venture, and it was a venture that what we had back then was National Council was Dale Beaver and David Hill, but now, since their chief and second chief and Deborah Wimpy is now mayor of Glenpool, it was a no-brainer that these three people were instrumental in getting this memorial to happen. And so, I mean, it was just like I always say, I give all my glory and praise to the Creator that made this happen, that put this vision in me to direct me in certain ways to these people to help me to build this memorial for our tribe and everything. So I think it's a blessing that we have people in leadership like that understand our veterans and stuff, that they wanted this to happen.
And I will say, just to see these organizations just really come together and pool resources and time and planning, just so that we are able to properly memorialize these veterans that otherwise, as you said, don't get the recognition they deserve. And I think it's just really inspiring to see the tribe as well, commit to that. That is very inspiring indeed. So moving to the dedication this weekend, could you tell me a little bit about the ceremonies that will be performed?
Well, we're having 22 honor guards coming in, and also we have what we call honorary guards. The honorary guards, there's 20 silhouettes, and we'll have one honorary guard beside each silhouette. What that details is just like when they bring the casket in on a fallen soldier, you always have a guardian over the casket. So we have a guardian over each silhouette as the honor guard will start their percussion to come in. We'll have also a drum from the Kiowa Warriors Society that's bringing up. They'll be singing a memorial song, a victory song, and a veteran song as we come marching in and stuff. I have the Broken Arrow Police Department, Broken Arrow Fire Department, numerous tribal honor guards that come up that want to participate in this event. Like I said, it's for all veterans, first responders. Even though it has veterans up there, this PTSD is a pandemic that just doesn't take just like veterans. It takes first responders, it takes policemen, fire department, it takes IMSA, everybody that has to deal with tragedy, and then they go home, it's still with them. And so that's the reason why we wanted this memorial to be this type of memorial, that it reaches out to all our responders, all the people that take care of us in our communities, in our state, and we just want to be that they're recognized for this. Now,
Tell me, now that the memorial is completed and it's going to be unveiled in just a couple days, how do you feel right now, just knowing that all of your hard work, is coming to fruition?
It just feels like this journey that I've been on. I've met so many people and so many churches and stuff, prayers, and the support of all different veterans organizations. When I brought it back from Virginia, and all the people that had congratulated us and thanking us for the work that we were doing, and for the Gold Star families of all the ones that may not be able to be here for this unveiling, but to let them know that, as I keep in constant contact with them, to let them know that we always remember them and their loved ones here, that, we all feel, of all mine and the other 19 silhouettes there, we all feel the same pain. And so when this was built, and because of this more, now it feels like my heart's complete now, that I hope that this memorial kind of honors their family in our traditional way, that they'll have something to remember, that they're always looked of, and that their loved ones are looking over the city of Broken Arrow as they're placed out there.
Absolutely. And for the veterans that come to view this memorial, whether at this dedication this weekend or just, as, throughout time as, the memorial, just to come view it, what are you hoping that veterans that view the memorial may take away from this?
I'm hoping that the veterans will come here, that when they're feeling down and they feel like they're ready to give up, they can go out here to this and have solidarity and peace as they sit out there at the memorial looking at the 20 that have gone on before them that couldn't deal with their demons of what was troubling them at that time. But they don't have to end that way, that there's a place they can go of the 20 that had gone on before them, that this is the place where they can come and get their peace, and to think back of what they're dealing with and stuff, to reach out. And we also have a Veterans Center right next to the memorial, that we had the VFW, we had Purple Heart, we had the Blue Star Mothers in there, American Legion, ODVA. It's there, that there's places that they can get help, that they're not forgotten. And so that's why we wanted it to be there, so that way that when these veterans do come out and they feel like there's no more hope, there is hope for them, and we're there to provide the services for them.
Absolutely. Now, you mentioned that obviously this memorial and this dedication is open to the public, and it's memorializing, first and foremost, soldiers, but soldiers of, different races, different backgrounds. However, we certainly talked about at the dedication, we're going to, obviously, there's going to be a lot of native cultural influences there. What does this mean to you as a Muskogee citizen to be able to just share our culture with the world on this scale?
Because a lot of these Gold Star families, like I said, are coming from all over the United States, and they have no clue of what our Indian culture is and stuff. And I think this will open their eyes, and they'll see how we honor our veterans and stuff that they normally don't see where they're from. They don't get to have, like, because of the 39 tribes here in Oklahoma, some of them doesn't have that, what we have here. And so I think it's great that they be able to see how Native American veterans are honored and stuff, and that they can take that back and say, well, the tribes there, they honor theirs on a high esteem, and that's the way that all veterans should be honored. Just not just because Native American, but because they signed on the dotted line to give their life to their country. And so everybody, no matter what race, signed on that dotted line, and that's the point we try to make to them, to say, well, job done.
Absolutely. And I also really like how, the native cultural influences are there. However, we are, first and foremost, it's important that we recognize the veterans. You mentioned Broken Arrow Mayor Deborah Wimpy earlier. Can you tell me what it was like just getting to know her and going on this journey of completing this memorial with her?
The first time I met Mayor Wimpy was my grandson, my oldest grandson, Dalton Ben Kuhn. He was, his dad and his mom had one time discussed him taking violin lessons. And during that time, they didn't have the money to do that, while he was just fresh in the military. And so after he passed, that dream went away. Well, Deborah Wimpy was under a program called Soldier's Wish in Shamrock. And so they asked my grandson, if he still would want to do violin lessons. So I asked him, and he goes, yes. He goes, I wanted to really take violin lessons, but now I can't because my father's gone. So Soldier's Wish heard his story, and they had an event out there, and Kevin McDougal, I think was in the Guard at that time, and he ended up giving my grandson a violin from Shields, a music store, and also gave him lessons to learn to play the violin. And so that's where me and Deborah met. And then after that, it just seemed like it was. Then after that mission, I start being involved in Mission 22. And then when she came on and said that Broken Arrow would want to have it for the city, then me and her just formed that bond that we had one thing in common, is to get this memorial built and to get it to be recognized for our veterans, for veteran suicide. And so it was a pleasure to work alongside her, and me and her just to keep pushing, because what was so good about the Broken Arrow and her council was that 3 out of 5 were veterans. So they understood what we would bring to the table, to tell them what we needed, what we wanted, and how we wanted to exploit it out to the public about veteran suicide, not to just sweep it under the carpet, but to bring it out, to bring out public awareness through the city and through the state of what we're facing in this nation.
Absolutely. Now, obviously, the dedication is this weekend. The memorial has not officially been unveiled yet. However, have you gotten any response yet from veterans that may have seen it or heard about it yet?
Yeah, the city of Broken Arrow right now is doing segments every day of the memorial with the mayor and also with the city manager, Michael Spurgeon. They're doing segments every day, showing the pictures of the silhouettes. Deborah's showing each silhouette what the soldier looks like in uniform, so they can put a face to a silhouette and everything. And then they're doing stories about them. And so and Mission 22 is doing the same for each silhouette, trying to put a QR code to it. So when you punch that QR code, you can listen to it, and then you can hear the story of each silhouette of what they did in their military. So I think it's great that the awareness is coming out and letting them know that, these soldiers are being recognized and stuff. And even though, you look at it and say, well, it's veteran suicide, but what they did in service is, they're highly decorated veterans, and it doesn't take, like someone just fresh going in, but it's, these had like tons of medals on their chest and stuff. So that's what was so great, that the city of Broken Arrow is doing that for them.
Absolutely. Now, I'd also like to mention this is a little off topic, however, I'd like to mention to our viewers that Mr. Michael Kuhn here has been nominated as a Living Legends this year for Festival. And so he will also, so round of applause for him. And you will be able to see him at the Living Legends event at River Spirit this year as the festival festivities go on. But Michael, I also just have to ask, you have a very unique position as a kind of a sort of a liaison or a bridge between the Mvskoke Creek Nation, the city of Broken Arrow, as well as Mission 22 that is directly serving these veterans. Just tell us how what it's been like, just be able to go back and forth and just really rally all of these people together to get this project going.
When we first got this project going, it was through Chief Floyd's administration. And when I got Dale Beaver and David Hill and Deborah Wimpy involved in it, we just all four of us formed a special bond that this was a project that we was going to see to the end. And it just took off. And I mean, when they found out what it was all about, then when David became chief, and then Dale became second chief, and then Deborah became mayor, it just made it even more exciting, because now they were all behind it. They had the leadership behind it, that they cared for our veterans, especially for our Mvskoke Nation veterans, and also with her veterans at the city of Broken Arrow, of all the different veterans organizations in BA. But it was a great journey to meet them, and how each piece was put in place like a puzzle. That when it finally came all together, then we had just one goal to get done, and that was to complete this memorial for our veterans. Even though it was a great joint venture with Mission 22, and Mission 22 giving me and when Magnus told me that he wanted me to be the steward of the memorial and to find a home for it, and then to go out and advocate the tribe and Broken Arrow, and it felt good to give back to our vets and stuff, that, hey, we're coming, and we now have a place of our own. There's a memorial for the fallen, but we didn't have one for the war at home after they could come back home and try to settle in, and now we do. So now we have a bridge right there that we can cross, and that we can go forward with.
Absolutely. Now, this memorial is a first of its kind, honoring, the veterans that have, been lost to, suicide and, mental illness. Do you foresee any other, memorials to be erected in the future, like the War at Home Memorial, or have you heard of any other memorials like this coming through the pipe?
I hear one that one of them, Michael Wargo, he's one of our silhouettes, and his parents, Michael and Sarah Wargo from Pennsylvania up there, they're working on a veteran suicide memorial up there in Pennsylvania, and so they're starting to do their funding for that. So I think it's great that all states are starting to put awareness in each state of what this dilemma is. It's just not one state, it's the whole nation, and the whole nation needs to put the awareness out and to educate all these civilians when they come back, because no one has any idea what these veterans are dealing with. And when you say Mission 22, they look at you and say, well, what's that? What does that mean? What is a Mission 22? And then we go in, then we tell them that, with the services that we offer, what we're all about. Now we're national in the United States, and hopefully all these other organizations will be the same as when they get it going.
Absolutely. Well, I think that's about all the questions that I have this morning. However, I'd just like to thank you, Michael, for coming in and speaking with us. And as always, thank you for your service, and also thank you for, just this service that you're providing for, veterans, not just of the Mvskoke Nation, but of, around the United States as well. Also,
we're doing a documentary for my father, that for Corporal Philip Kuhn at Eufaula Indian Community on June the 18th at 3 o'clock. We're showing an hour-and-a-half long documentary. He's the reason that me and my son joined the military, because of his exploits that he served in the military. And then for our Gold Star and our Purple Heart recipients, and all our military men and women, and our first responders, we're having a first annual Broken Arrow Intertribal Veterans Organization powwow that recognizes all our veterans and stuff. So we have over 60 vendors coming out for this powwow for different nonprofit veterans, nonprofit organizations and stuff. So if you're a nonprofit organization would like to attend, that's what this is all about. It's almost like a stand down, what we're doing. So we invite all veterans to come out, and when they go out in the circle and dance, they dance for their battle buddies that they lost in the war. But when they dance around the ring of fire, that their spirit will be with them when they go around that circle. So we invite everybody to come out and join us for our Gold Star and Purple Heart. And also we'll be having Lori Piestua's mother, Percy Piestua, and her 2 children at the powwow give a speech at the powwow. So everybody's welcome to come and join us. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for sharing that with us. The War at Home Memorial dedication will be at Veterans Park in Broken Arrow on Saturday, June 11th. The ceremonies will begin at 10 a.m. Guests are asked to arrive by 9:55 a.m. It is open to the public. Veterans Park is located at 1111 South Main Street, Broken Arrow. If you would like to view prior coverage of this story, you can visit MvskokeMedia.com. And also a plug for the Living Legend ceremony, as we are sitting with a living legend here in the studio. That is coming up on June 23rd at the River Spirit Casino Resort, 8330 Riverside Parkway in Tulsa, and that will begin at 11 a.m. Mr. Kuhn, thank you so much today. In the meantime, reporting from downtown Okmulgee, Braden Harper, Mvskoke Media.
Thank you, Braden. Nice job. And as always, we want to thank Mr. Kuhn for joining us and his wonderful family. We've got a couple of announcements. As Braden said, the Living Legends is coming up, and we just spoke with one, which is harder to do. But also the month of June is Men's Mental Health Month. And there's a community resource fair they've had. And where am I here? Stigma has made it difficult for many men to even consider therapy as an option. But seeking therapy can be very helpful. And it's not a sign of weakness to talk with someone. It's a sign you're taking charge of your mental health and your life. All right, well, that's it for the announcements. Now, we've got a rookie in here. He'll be branded a rookie for the next couple of shows, but I think we'll get past that pretty quick. Braden, what are your thoughts now? You've been with Mvskoke Media for still a short period of time. What's it like for you?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I just want to say first and foremost, everyone here at the Tribe has just been so welcoming, particularly my I don't know if it's too soon to use the word family at the Mvskoke Media, but everyone's just really welcomed me in. I've always been, proud of, my heritage and my family and my tribe, but to really just come in and just have the opportunity and the privilege to work and tell the stories of our people, it's just been really great. And truthfully, I've learned so much. Certainly, just in the short period of time that I've been here.
For instance,
absolutely.
I'll put you on the spot immediately. What did you learn? What did something come to mind that you've learned?
Something that I have learned. I think just organization tactics. I think just being able to organize an interview, or making sure I have the right information and the right dates, making sure that I'm able to disseminate information in a timely manner. That's something that I'm still learning and growing in. Certainly, one of my favorite aspects about the job thus far is just being able to cover events that are going around the nation, whether it be the War at Home dedication, whether it be just a something a little lighter, like a picnic and a little barbecue that might be a department may be throwing. It's just really been great to get out and meet our citizens and just learn about their stories and what they've their experiences, their history, everything. So just organization and just trying to put myself out there, I think, are just things that I'm that's been great so far.
Okay, well, it's good to have you. You seem like you can handle yourself pretty well. Okay, Gary 5 Jahua Jeff Kiddos, thank you for listening to our program, and we'll be back next week. And remember, we're aiming to be at the festival this year. You've been listening to Mvskoke Radio. Join us again next week for more local, tribal, and community news and updates. But